She's back. The doll. The devil. Annabelle.
Aloha! This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Oahu, here on the island of Hawaii, bringing you the best movie reviews on the entire island. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, and being Thursday, the 10th of August, I went ahead and I saw the spooky movie Annabelle Creation. And, well, this is the intro here. So let me just tell you that, this is based upon James Wan's Conjuring universe. Now, I've never seen The Conjuring 1 or 2 or the other Annabelle movie. But Annabelle Creation, apparently, as from what we see from the trailers that I've just shown you, is the very beginning of how this doll, this demonic possessed doll, comes into existence. And apparently what we see is back, in the early 20th century, apparently, I guess, looks like someone's, this couple's daughter dies tragically. And of course, they're so bereaved that they want to bring her back, or at least contact her somehow from beyond the grave, of course. And they do so, but as these things usually occur, it ends with tragic results, as apparently they bring back something that is not truly their daughter. All right. So, remember our rating scale. Shaka thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shaka thumbs down. It's bad to see. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And, well, for Annabelle, the creation, and for Annabelle Creations, I gotta say, Shaka thumbs down overall. I was not impressed with this movie. I actually thought it would be better, or at least scarier. I'm no big fan of horror movies overall. I think I've told you guys before that, my idea of a good horror movie, a good scary movie is like Jason, Freddy Krueger running after you. The bottom line is I enjoy a horror movie where the people have a chance to defeat the evil and maybe get away. Of course, there are going to be some loss of lives. But, our main hero has a chance of successfully getting around, the peril and escaping at least to the next movie. And, in something like this, as you'd seen from the trailer, it's basically a story of demonic possession, of, demonic devil possession. Depending on what religious belief you believe in, it's going to have something like that. Which doesn't give you a lot of options for escape, really. Because in these movies, even somebody of pure faith, and belief in their religion, can be taken over, can be killed by the evil, or the devil in this case, or the demon, which just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't rest right with me in here, that, somebody, say, if in the Christianity circles or Catholic circles, one was a true believer in God and very pious, that, you would think that God somehow would give them the power to defeat this evil, or at least stave it off, so that they would have a chance. So that's my major beef with the movie in general for this kind of genre of a movie. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody is destroyed in this movie. As you know, this is, again, the sequel to one of the Annabelle movies. And actually a prequel, and like all prequel movies, it came out after the original movies, which basically caused the popularity, which kind of, should be a hint to you right there, is that if the prequel didn't come out first, then obviously it wasn't going to be good enough to start off this cinematic universe. And, you know, like this one, it is not. There are a couple of jump scares in it, but overall, it really didn't do anything for me. You see a little bit of the demon or the creature here in flashes, but still by far not enough to go ahead and really scare you as I think it should, as is kind of promised with this movie overall. You know, the whole concept of an evil creature or an evil being taking over something and, you know, making baby steps towards its ultimate goal of evil is, is part of legend and myth. My mother used to tell me stories about when she was a little girl. She would walk by the railroad tracks and, late in the afternoon, early evening, and she would hear what would sound like a baby crying way down the track somewhere, and she would look around and she wouldn't see anybody or see this baby, and she would follow it for a little while down the track, still with nobody in sight, and never reaching or finding the baby, until the point where she says, I'm not going to follow this voice anymore, these cries any further, because she's getting too far away. And so then she would come back. And later, she would hear the story from her mother that, this is the devil trying to tempt your soul, trying to get you out there alone to take you over or cause harm to you in some way. And, so whatever, the devil, some evil spirit, fox spirits in the Japanese culture, the evil jinn in, the Middle East. It's all about the same story in there. Something causing some type of, sometimes mischief, but very often something far more sinister. And this one being Annabelle's creation, we've seen the story about Annabelle the doll already. So this is how the doll came to being. The little girl, as you saw in the trailers, the little girl dies. The parents go ahead and make a doll. They sense or they get some kind of feelings that some type of spirit reaches out to them, which they believe is their daughter, and ask for permission to move into this life-size doll so that they could be a family once more. Once it does so, permission is granted. Once it does so, they come to discover that it is not indeed their daughter, but yet a demon or evil spirit that has taken control of this doll and thus can truly interact with the physical world. And as likely these things play out, it is a mere stepping stone. First it gets control of an inanimate object. Next, it wants to take over a living object and, progress higher there to where it can affect more of the physical reality in itself. Now, and this is no exception. Now, so what, another fundamental flaw is, what does these parents do after they have made this discovery that there is some demonic possession of this doll? They go ahead and they have an exorcism, essentially, for this doll. They find out they cannot destroy the doll, so they seal the doll away. And it's been quiet for so long. And then finally, they say, well, let's open up our house and make it an orphanage for, young children, girls, like our daughter. And it's like, what are you thinking? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. And, these parents should have known that it's like, no, this evil did not go away. It's just sitting there waiting for its moment, for its chance. And the doors opened quite literally for the opportunity for this demon to take over one of these girls' souls and body, the next step in the evolution, so that it can wreak havoc on the world. Thank you, parents. If you know that there's a demonic entity that resides in your house, don't say, "Oi, girls, come on over and enjoy my house." It's stupid. All right, so right there, that shock a thumbs down. There is a litmus test that should go through anybody's mind. There's no reason that this should have happened. Whether, I know this is fiction and you have to suspend a certain amount of belief for these kind of movies to take place and scare you, but it's like right there, it's like, why? It makes no sense. So again, shock a thumbs down. Plus, like I said, you hardly see the creature. Now, some people were scared in this movie. There are a few jump scares, but I'd say that most of the action, most of the enjoyment of this movie happens only within the last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, and that's it. And then the last few moments of the movie is nothing more than just set up for, the Annabelle, the original Annabelle movie. And then finally, this new Conjuring movie, or the next set of movies in the series of the Conjuring universe, called The Nun. And I gotta say, just go ahead and skip it. If you really feel possessed to go see this movie, definitely just do it for the $6 on Tuesday at Regal, or at Consolidated for $7. And because of their 100th year anniversary, they have decided to go ahead and do that $7 for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Any movie, $7 on those 3 days of the week. So, and they said that is likely to continue through December for the rest of this year. Why they didn't start it earlier, I'm not exactly sure. Perhaps, because, well, honestly, I think it's because people are, kids are back in school now, so they're not going to be wasting so much money, and which is why they likely didn't do it during the summer for the $7 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, and they just kept it on the Tuesday during the summer. But now that school is back in session and the kids won't be there every day, go ahead and check that out, and save yourself a little bit of money, because I spent $11 for Annabelle Creation, and for a shock a thumbs down film, I'm happy to go ahead and take the hit for you guys, so you don't have to waste any money on this. But definitely just wait until Netflix. If you're, like I said, if you're a real fan of this series of horror movies, go ahead and see it for the $6 on Tuesday, or now the $7 at Consolidated for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I would not pay full price for this movie. Feel free to skip it and wait for it on video on demand, either iTunes or Netflix. You won't be missing anything. And if you really want to get creeped out and see a scary movie before then, I recommend still strongly The Exorcist is a far superior movie that deals with the same issues. See that. It holds up still today. Or even the Amityville Horror, very first original movie. Or, a personal favorite of mine that creeped me out as a child, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, number one. The original, back from the 70s. Go ahead and check that out. That is terrifying and frightening. All right. But as far as Annabelle Creations, again, shock a thumbs down. Save your money. I'm warning you. All right. Thank you so much. Sorry I don't have better news. I'll give you another review tomorrow, Friday. All right. Thank you, and aloha.